So let's get into tonight's conversation, or what do you want to talk about? What else do we have to talk about first? First, we
Well,
want to thank all of our previous guests and the guests in
yes,
the future. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you are tuning in live or if you are on the replay, we want to thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. All right.
we appreciate you paying with your time. We
That's
really
all
do.
right. So,
You know what's interesting though? I should send this out because normally we don't. But if it's some couples maybe that want to come on and have a conversation on camera,
ooh, that's dangerous.
that is dangerous.
All right.
But you can send us an email at info
At
at legendary relationship.
legendaryrelationship.com.
There you go. Yep. And say, hey, you know what? Maybe let's explore having a conversation. It's not one of those I got you type of conversations. It's just open and honest. That's all we ask. And just have a conversation.
That's all it's about. It's about having conversations around relationships, around life.
Right.
And that's all relationships about setbacks and how you get back up,
Yeah.
mountains when you overcome them. It's about just in general being you and having the mindset and the tenacity to just keep pushing forward in relationships or to not be like that couple who we saw, right? You know,
Which which
so
couple was that?
what was the name? The guy who got caught cheating.
Oh,
What
talking
was
about
his name?
the CEO guy that was at the concert with
Yeah,
with
what is his
his
name? Something
yeah, I don't know.
Brian.
Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
think it's
But it was
Brian's
something that
Tech.
we
I
saw.
think
I
that's the
was
name of
seeing
the
something
company. Yeah.
online.
So what I was thinking, so when I saw that and I read that, and I was thinking like, why? Like he's been married for years and
That's why.
they've been having an affair for years. Why
Yeah.
not? So
Why
he
not
wants
just
to be happy.
mhm.
I'm sure his wife wants to be happy. Why not just leave? Why not just say, I'm not happy
M-
here. This isn't
maybe
working for me.
you know what we should get on? We should get on a divorce attorney. Or maybe it's just too complicated
No,
to
no, never.
to end the relationship.
It's definitely not too complicated because she filed for divorce today.
Well, it was
So it's
already. Trust me, it was already in the making. Right? She
so
probably already had her intuition was already telling her something was going
but it
on.
doesn't matter. So she can do it now, she could
She
have
could.
done it then, right? So why lie
The
about it?
nail didn't hurt
Why
that bad then
she?
until she saw it.
Well, maybe she didn't know, and it's different. It's
She
different.
may not. She may not have known, but I believe she had an idea that it's a
Okay, so
possibility.
my thing is, if you have an idea,
Hmm.
not necessarily because some people are good at what they do. So
Some
if
are.
she had an idea
Hmm.
and she asked him and he said no, it still resorts to the same thing. You don't
Right.
have proof,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so he's coming home, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and the thing is, if that's the type of relationship you want, then fine.
Right.
But if it's not, give the other person the opportunity to say, hey, if you want back, because at the end of the day, we all want to be happy.
Yeah.
And if that person makes you happy and you're not happy in your relationship, just go to another relationship.
It's easy.
Like, why stay if you are doing all the things that you have to sneak, you have to cheat, you have to lie, you have to cover your bases, you got to do all these things. Now, and my question is, how the heck did he think he was going to be private in an
In a
open,
public
in a, yeah,
event.
in an open event? My thing is, okay,
After a while, you put down your guards and you just say, "Hey, listen, we're out of town." I don't know if they were in town or whatever.
I don't know either.
But either way, they were out having fun. They knew that
Definitely having
they
fun.
wouldn't run into anyone, right?
And this is the crazy thing, right? When the jumbotron, when the announcer said either they're having an affair, and I don't think the announcer knew, he was just
Oh
trying
no,
to be
he's just
funny.
being funny. That's all.
But they did scatter like roaches, didn't they? So it was like either they're having an affair or they're just really shy, and then he gets offended because he said. But my point is that why make somebody else miserable?
Yeah.
Why hurt someone else if your ultimate goal is just to be happy? Go be happy. Allow me to be happy. Let me allow you to be happy. You know, it's so guys, again, don't forget if you are out there, and so just your comments, your
Your
brief
comments
comments,
on.
right?
Yeah, that was
We're all
interesting.
in marriages, we're all in
Relationship.
relationships, and if we think the grass is greener on the other side, why not just go next door? Stop pulling up in my driveway. Go next door.
Yeah,
Because
that was
you're
interesting.
you're preventing me from finding the person that's gonna make me happy instead of you. And then it made me think about right
I
when
was gonna say
then
something, but go
go
ahead.
ahead, but it made
No.
me think about that thing when it was like, guys, people who are 60 and over, stop getting divorced. You got to try to find out what people all over
Yeah,
again. But
yeah.
sometimes that's the good part of it, figuring out
Well, maybe we don't want to start over. Well, I
shit.
think the story was that both were married to other people.
Oh, I don't know about her.
So even so, I mean, one is bad, but if both of them were, you wreck two, households because they look mighty happy
You're
together.
not wrecking anything. You wrecking your own life because
Exactly. I said
you
two
are,
people wreck their own.
yeah.
Yeah, right. And I'm
Just,
not saying someone else. They did this to themselves, right?
my point is just if you want to be with somebody else, go be with somebody else.
Well, you want to be with them, but you want to be with them on your own terms, right? So they're
Oh,
together
I
on
can't
their own
leave
terms.
because of nothing.
Because I don't want to,
Because you're
because
being
I kind of like
selfish.
what I have. Yeah, well, it may not be selfish, it may be just greedy, right? I'm
I don't know.
happy for some portions of it, but this portion over here, you make me happy.
All right, let's
So
get our comments. Guys, don't forget, we cannot see you, so we do want to shout you out. We want to thank you
that's
guys for
funny
taking
though.
time to stop in on this Friday for our Friday Night Live. Did you guys love our babies? That was me and Jason as babies. That was our AI babies. Did
What's
you
that?
guys put it out there? I wish Jason had the thing.
What was that
That
you
was
put
our
out there?
AI. I put a post out there with our AI babies
Oh,
getting
did you?
ready. So that was us, and then we had to dress up like this. All right, so let's see our comments.
All right.
Let's see.
Hey,
Rita
Rita
S.
S.
Hey, Rita S.
Hey,
Hey,
family.
family.
How are you? Thank you for chiming in.
Wait, Rita, she keep changing her
I know
name.
she's on Facebook, I think. So
She
just
last
make
time.
sure you also tag a friend. Let them know that we're on and we're having a good conversation. We may continue this conversation about the couple that got
No,
caught on
we ain't
the
talking about them.
jumbotron. So yeah, it's just interesting because you can learn a lot from other folks' mistakes.
All right.
Yep.
So, Jan, hey,
Jan,
Janice, happy Friday. Manifesting a joy filled relationship with Jason and Tina. Marie, that's right.
there you go.
That's
Thank you,
me. Hey,
Janice.
Jan. All right. So we want to talk, why do relationships struggle? And so we had a full thing laid out and we're going to talk about it, but we want to hear from you. Why do
Yeah.
you think relationships struggle? Because there are numerous reasons.
Yep.
Just like there's numerous reasons why people cheat, there's numerous reasons why people stay in relationships. There's a lot of reasons, but why do you think that, you know, we struggle
Relationship
in
struggle.
relationships?
Right.
And we,
And if we could be honest, I mean, like we don't need to dish any dirt, but just to be honest, I mean, why do you think, just off the top of your head, why
yeah.
do you think relationships struggle?
And it's not just, we're not just talking about intimate relationships. We're talking about the relationship with you and your parents, you and your
Mm,
children, the relationship with you and your sisters or brothers, right?
mm,
Why do relate? Because it's the same thing, no matter whether you are intimate, and brothers and sisters are intimate too, right?
yeah,
Because you have a connection, you have a
yeah.
bond. So whether what we're talking about all relationships, like the relationship with the person at work that you think doesn't like you or wherever. Why do we struggle in relationships? And so we want to hear from you guys. So everyone who was checking in tonight, make sure you drop your name so we can shout you out. Rita S.
Said good,
Good.
and then I want to get this
All
one.
right.
That's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. Said communication. Yeah, that's for sure.
Communication. So
Yep.
what do you think? That's such a broad answer. Like,
Yep.
what do you mean in communication?
Communication, like
Like on
I'm
both people?
communicating,
Hmm.
but you're not hearing what I'm saying, or we're not communicating and no one's talking. So sometimes people think that communication um, is kind of happening, right? Like we talk, or I talk. It's like I asked him this question, or I asked her this question, but they didn't tell me. So then I didn't say anything else to them after that. So is it communication happening or not happening, or it's just that they're not communicating the way you would like for them to communicate?
And like I said, communication is such a broad topic, and I think, as you said, Jason, part of the problem is that we think we're communicating,
Yeah.
or we just
Well, yeah,
don't know how,
effectively.
or we
Right.
just don't know how to communicate. And I
Right.
think oftentimes we grow up and we think we're communicating because in our minds, communication means that I'm talking and you're listening and you're talking and I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But oftentimes it's the understanding part. That's where the effective part
Mm.
comes in. It's or the communication breaks down. So, Rita, please, if you can,
Mm-hmm.
just go deeper. What do you mean about communication? Because there's so many different areas and aspects and depths to communication. But in general, what do you think? And so, what I was saying is that we grow up thinking that there's a certain way to communicate, right? As long as somebody's talking and somebody's listening. But the
Mm-hmm.
the often problem is that when we have created a relationship, whether it's with our spouse, our neighbor, our coworker, we have created this way of communication. And if it's ineffective in the beginning, it's going to be ineffective all the way throughout.
Right.
And until something changes, the communication stays the same, which means that when I get ready to speak, you immediately
Tense up.
yeah,
Yeah.
tense
I
up.
don't hear what you're
You put up you
saying.
put up your guard.
Right.
All
Yep.
those. If the energy in the room could really take, like,
Right.
you see all these
Yeah.
things taking place.
Red like one.
Right?
Incoming. Incoming.
And so you're not even listening to
Right.
what the person's saying. You immediately think you're being attacked.
Yeah.
And
And you know what? That's a learned behavior, and we talk about that, and we talk to couples about this form of communicating. It's a learned behavior, right? It's I was a child, and I also had to interact with my parents this way or adults, right? So when you say
This
certain thing, you know, a certain way, when I
hmm
hear you say
hmm
certain things, it
hmm
triggers something, right? And I go, oh no, you're not gonna talk to me like this way because my mom might have said that to me, or my dad might have said that to me when I
hmm
was coming up, and I always wanted to voice my opinion. So now
hmm
I'm voicing my opinion.
I just want to see your face.
Okay,
That's
cool.
all. Right.
So, because I can't
Oh,
see it if I'm looking at you.
so you're saying that people as they grow up, their communication, who they communicate with, they felt like they couldn't be heard. So now when they get older, they're gonna make sure that they're being heard. So
Right, the
they're
younger
gonna
version of themselves
themselves.
are communicating as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see if we have any more comments, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. If you are live, please make sure that you drop your name. You could just drop your name and we can shout you out. We just want to say thank you. We're not going to be in
All
here
right, go ahead.
talking to ourselves. We want you guys to communicate with us. This is a live conversation. Just letting that person express themselves and you listen to them without.
Interruptions.
And so now that you said, so one of the reasons why we struggle, you
Right,
said because just letting that person talk.
right.
So do you think that just letting that person talk and you don't interrupt, do you think that sometimes that's actually communicating?
I think it is, but here it is. It's communicating if it's one point that they're trying to get across. Now, if
Well,
they're
see, I
fire
think.
hosing you with situations and points that they're trying to get over,
Hmm.
because if I know that you're not going to, interrupt me, I'm trying to get everything off my chest at one time. Now, that's not communicating. Now, if you're talking about one particular incident that you just want to express, and then I can help and say, well, look, I understand. This is what I hear you saying. That would work. But if I'm just sitting there and you're going on and on and on and on, then I'm not listening after a
Well,
while.
see that, but that's exactly what my point that what she was saying. So you're not interrupting,
But I'm
but you're
not.
not
I
listening
done tuned
either.
out after a while.
Right.
I
So
I can listen to 1 or 2 points, but no, no, don't keep going now.
but the point she made was that communication is allowing someone to speak
Right.
and you listen. So how can you put parameters on somebody speaking?
Yeah. Well, I'll give
What
them one parameter. I'll
so
give them
so
one gem.
well, but
It's
then
one
that's
point at a time.
but then if that hasn't been established
I'm giving
beforehand,
it to them now.
so if that hasn't been established beforehand, then I think the communication breaks down because as she
Of
was saying,
course.
you allow someone to talk and you listen without interrupting. So if I'm going on and on and
No,
on
what you're doing,
and
you
you're
just
not
let them
interrupting.
speak without interrupting. You stopped hearing a long time ago. Because if someone strike a nerve, you are done listening.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so
Yeah.
too. And I think what we were saying in now communication is definitely one or the inability to learn how to communicate. And so
Mm-hmm.
we talk about all of these things and my question is how are we training ourselves to communicate? So if we know that we have an issue, right? If someone knows they have an issue communicating, if I'm not being able to communicate with you
Mm-hmm.
and I'm standing on my side of the fence shouting my perspective, right? And then you get on your side of the fence and you're shouting your perspective or your stance, and we're just going back and forth. At what point do we stop and say to rewire our relationship to say, hey, this is not working? This is not so. What are we doing? So when we talk about why are they struggling, it's because for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, what has been seen is that our inability to change.
For sure.
We want to believe that our way of communicating is right. So
Well,
we say,
that's
well,
what we've been taught, right? Argue your point.
I don't even think it's taught. I just think
It's a
it's
well,
what
it's learned.
as we talked about with a couple of episodes, it's a learned behavior.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
taught behavior. You see either you're not being seen
Mm-hmm.
and so you speak louder or you see other people screaming so you scream.
Right.
So it's definitely learned, but my question is we're struggling because we know what the issues are, but what are we doing to combat the issues?
Right. Well,
Right?
yeah, I mean, that's some things that need to be learned. You need skills and you need tools to actually learn how to communicate for sure, and many other things. But here's the thing: if people mistaken talking
Hmm.
at each other or with each other or to each other
Hmm.
as communicating, but
And
that's not.
it's communicating because some people do communicate like that.
Uh,
It's
that's.
communicating now.
I'm not
Again,
saying that it's
right,
not
right.
right.
It's the effective part. Is it
Right.
effective, and is it doing what I wanted to do in the relationship?
If you're walking away from a discussion that you're having and you feel worse than you did before you went in, or you're feeling about the same, then it's not an effective communication.
So that could be looked at as something that why we struggle in relationships.
Yeah.
Our inability to not only not communicate, but our inability to find out how to effectively communicate. So it's one thing, I think, it's one thing for people to um, read stuff
Sure.
and then think they have all the answers,
Right.
right? And so I always say, get the whole pie, get the
You
whole
always say
picture,
that. Yep.
right? So oftentimes we get one little skill. Well, I was trained at work and I know to use the I statements and I understand that, um, you know, not interrupting or speaking or
Or
one
yeah, I know
point or
how to
these.
regulate my emotions,
And there's
which
so many
whatever it may
different
be.
things in it, but what we have to make sure that we're doing, or what couples or people have to make sure that they're doing, is they're getting the full picture. I'm not only getting my perspective of how I communicate, but I need to understand, how does my mate communicate?
And that's
How do they receive and interpret information, to not only receive it but to digest it,
right.
to internalize it and hear what I'm saying, so that they can get on the empathetic side. Oh, let me put myself in their shoes. So, that could be definitely one thing. And so
Oh,
we
for
had a
sure.
post that came out that talked about some of the things in relationships. And again, it's not just intimate relationship, but some of the things
Right,
that
that's
we
all.
struggle in.
Right, because sometimes we don't communicate well with our siblings.
We don't communicate well with ourselves.
Well, that's true too. Because some of the
We don't.
self talk is rough, right?
Exactly.
So we don't even talk to ourselves with respect. So how did
If
you
we
expect
could
to
listen,
communicate with someone else with respect?
I think if our minds could record without us saying it, like some of the stuff we think,
Mm-hmm.
if we could just record that and then play it back to ourselves, it'd be like, who they
Ooh,
talking
they,
to?
they don't like each other, right?
Right, right. So you're right. Some of the
And that's
things
just
that
some
we
negative self
communicate,
talk.
some of the things that we communicate to ourselves, and then what we do is we play that out in our relationships.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah,
feeling a certain way, or we have subconsciously um, ingested some things throughout our experiences. And now when we try to communicate, we're not communicating with the person that's in front of us. We're
right.
communicating with the past people.
Come
We've
on.
communicating with our parents. We're communicating with our old employee. Like, we take on so many negative things. I think you got some comments. We take on so many negative things. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you
Okay.
know.
We take on so
No, you're
many
not.
negative
You're
things
right.
from our past and put it into our current now, instead of coming to the table with the now. Who's sitting across the table from me now? Or who's in the mirror if I'm talking to myself?
Mm.
How am I talking to myself about, hey, you didn't handle that right? What could have been a better way you could have handled it? Or just, as I said,
Well, see,
seeking.
that's an adult conversation because a lot of times, if we feel that we're right, we're not asking ourselves in the mirror, what could I have done better? I've done exactly what I thought was right at that
Oftentimes,
particular
yeah,
time.
we walk
So
away.
we don't
We
even
walk
have to
away.
ask ourselves
We
that
walk
question.
away from relation. We don't walk away from a conversation, and
Like,
we.
I don't know what's wrong with them. I did what I was supposed to do. There's nothing else
I
I can.
expressed mine. They didn't
Right.
get it. They just didn't get it.
Right.
And that's so often, that is such the case. They didn't get it. They don't want to change. They're not listening. Instead of us, as you said, we don't even ask ourselves the questions like, where did the communication break down? And
Mm-hmm.
how could I come back to the table next time better, so that I can not only be heard, but I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
all right, let's see. You got some more comments?
Yes, I do.
So we definitely want to hear from you guys.
Yeah,
What are
tell
some
me
of the
something.
things
Yeah,
that
give
you
me some
think?
points, guys.
Nancy said, hey, family.
Yeah.
So, Nancy, we are asking, what do you think are some of the reasons why we struggle in relationships?
She said one was one point at a time. Yeah, that's true because if I have the floor, I don't water hose me with a bunch of
Water
situations.
hose. Wow.
Yeah, or I should
Okay.
say, like a fire hydrant. Really, that's how they come out. Because once you get somebody revved up, they go back to when you started. When you were dating. And let me go back to this. And I didn't like this. And and they kind of go.
You're not speaking from experience
Um.
with me, somebody else.
Uh.
Well, I don't. Now, I don't know. Do I fire hydrant or do I water hose? Now,
Well,
which
what
one?
time? I mean, because you talk fast, so I'm not sure
do
if
talk
that's
fast.
like like a fire hydrant because their words come out pretty
so
quick.
then would you get worried if I started speaking slow?
I would. It's
You're
like,
like,
oh my, she's really upset. She's so upset her words didn't slow down.
All right, let's get to the next comment. All right, guys. So if you are tuning in, please put in the comments. Let's have some
Look at here,
conversation.
Mama Mia.
All
Welcome
right.
to the show.
That's Mommy Mia.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean,
Hey,
Mama
Mommy Mia. Mama Mia.
What you say? Mia, what did you say? Mia in the home?
Mia in the home. You can always rely on Mia to just Mommy Mia and Mia in the home. All right.
So what we're asking,
that's that communication
that
barrier
is,
breakdown.
right? She
Right.
thinks she's saying Mama Mia. What do you think are some of the situations in a relationship that cause it to struggle? So whatever you come up with, we're just gonna
we
go
just
with
want,
it.
we just want to know. So
I mean, we just want to see what you're thinking, right? There's no right and wrong answers here. We started out with communication, which is true, and we saw how how that can be affected, how that can affect the relationship because of the way people communicate. It's a lot of different things, and again, see, we get into a lot of this in our private sessions and in our coaching sessions about communication. because it is something. It is a skill to communicate, and it's a skill to communicate effectively.
And it's also a skill to be able to recognize where you are not communicating,
Yeah.
where the ball is being
Right.
dropped.
Right.
And oftentimes it's uh we're relating, if we could relate everything back to mindset, right? Everything kind of boils down to, what am I thinking? How do I view
Mm-hmm.
this issue that is, making me relate in this, making me communicate in this type of manner that may not be effective, right?
Yeah.
We have the mindset that I want to be heard, I want to be right, I
Oh.
want to be proven right, I want you to hear me, I want you to understand. And so often we're looking for validation
Yeah.
in our communication. We want someone to say, you know what, you're right, da 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 da. And then we're not even realizing that even if you are right, how does that affect the next time when you're not right?
Mm.
How are we viewing ourselves in the process of communicating to not only want to be validated, but how are we validating the other person? You know, as we always say, right? Both points are valid, but how does, if your point is valid, because obviously it is, because that's what you believe,
Right.
and if my point is valid, how do we get to a common ground of communicating where when we say, when we don't just give verbal thing that we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that. That
Sometimes.
doesn't mean that that me agreeing to disagree that we're still going to be happy,
Right.
right? The whole ultimate goal of communication is understanding, and then moving forward, understanding that we may not agree, but we can still be happy, right? I can be happy with understanding you. I can be happy with you understanding me, and us getting to a realization of how to make the situation that we're communicating about
Right.
better. How do we get to a common ground where we're both essentially happy with the outcome?
I like that. And also, when you said let's come to a common ground, let's agree to disagree.
Mhm.
It all depends on how we look at that. Because sometimes people say if I agree to disagree, I didn't win. I felt like
Perspective
I
again,
kind of
mindset.
folded
What is
on
your
it. Right.
mindset?
Right. Whatever your mindset is, right.
Because
So
if your mindset is that I need to win this, what is it, war? What is it? What does the saying go? Uh,
yeah.
the battles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
win
Win the
this
battle.
battle, win
Right.
this battle, win this battle,
Yeah.
and then
Win the battle and
ultimately,
lose the war. Right.
or win the war. I need to
Yeah.
win all of them, right? So yeah.
Yeah. But so that's true. So we think about that as um folding, like, man, I gave in once again. So every time a situation comes up, and like I said, we've seen this before, situation comes up, you're going to fight harder in the beginning because just in case you have to agree to disagree, you want to make sure you get all your points and everything out. So you want to be heard. You want to make sure you stand firm on your points. But again, when you peel back the onion, those points aren't always the most important thing, right? You loving that person, you respecting that person, that's going to move the relationship forward as you go forward. That
I think
situation,
that's a good point. Communication, when we communicate, if people could put forth first to say that I do love this person,
yeah.
we need to get back to that I love the person and I respect the
There you
person.
go. You
And
got
we
to
need to
respect
show
them,
signs of respect so that when
but
we're communicating,
right,
that is expressed in the communication.
but we
Because
have to do
oftentimes
that,
there's no respect.
right? But we have to do that when we're upset.
Yeah.
When I'm not viewing you in the best light, not you particular, but you
When
as
when people
when
aren't
when
being
we're at
viewed. Mhm.
odds, I'm not viewing you as the person that I love or I care about you. I'm trying to get my point
I'm
across.
viewing you as the
I'm
enemy.
just
I'm
well,
viewing you as the
yeah. I didn't want
enemy.
to say that, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You are kind of viewing them as the enemy,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm
It's
trying
you
to get my
against me.
right.
And that brings up another point. We struggle just for that mindset of it's in a relationship, whether it's family, whether whoever it is, it's
Hmm.
never you against the person.
Right.
If the situation is something that can be fixed or changed,
Hmm.
then it's not you against the person. It's the you and the person against what is the challenge that we're
Right.
having.
Right.
Right? What is the challenge? How do we overcome this challenge? Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe it's the way we started the relationship. Maybe it's we need to put boundaries in place. There could
Come
be a
on.
numerous of things.
There is.
But as long as we hold to the respect part, right? Let respect me and then I can respect you. But when people get when we lose all respect in the conversation,
Yeah.
resolution goes out the window.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to have it. Now, how many of us out there has have had a misunderstanding with our partner, and it just blew up out of proportion. And you like, what are we arguing about now?
And you like,
And
I
you,
didn't even see it going that
I
way.
didn't, right. He's like,
Like
I just mentioned
in my
this.
mind, I did not see it going that
And now
way.
we're in a full blown argument over like
Nothing.
who took the lid off of something in the refrigerator, and it just blows into something else, right? I mean, anybody else have gotten into a conversation that just went left for no apparent reason, and sometimes you won't
And
speak to each other for a few days.
so when it went left,
Right.
communication went out the window, out the
Right.
door.
Right.
Communication went under the refrigerator.
Communication kept going straight, and you took a left. It's just still going. Like it's happening, right? They're still talking. Yeah.
And then we have another post out. We have a post out that was talking about struggling, and I think one of the things was that unexpected, unrealistic
For
expectations.
sure.
And we talk about this and all these things. So my point is that when we're having these conversations about communication, about unrealistic, um,
Hold on one second. Let me go ahead
uh-huh.
and get this point because
Okay,
my girl
please make
came
sure.
in here. Go ahead.
All right, Regina. Good
Hey,
evening,
Regina.
Jason and Tina
Welcome.
Marie, and
Welcome.
everyone else. Good evening, Regina. Thank you for tuning in. Great to see you. So, guys, we know
Oh,
you guys have some comments out
all
there.
right. There you go.
Janice says, I think sometimes it is my individual expectations for listening and replying to someone. I am a person who has a tendency to judge.
That's a long
I
thing.
know you got to keep it
Yeah. I
up.
gotta.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to rephrase to judge by the voice tone of a reply of which I am sometimes guilty. Jan,
Say, sure. I don't.
or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah.
Someone can reply to you in your voice tone,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't even have that intention.
Yeah.
Again, one of those things where you could say something to somebody and it goes left. In my older years, I have learned that I try to really be intentional and aware of
Your
how
tone
I.
and your flexion.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
You've
and
gotten better at that.
well,
I give
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
But
I'm
to
still
other,
calm and cool and collective as I've always been. Yeah.
is this thing on? So I'm gonna let you have that.
Thank
All
you.
right, because today is no drama Friday.
Okay.
So that's so true, and that's a very big part of struggling in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not only you're listening, and then someone sometimes we get the this and the that, and
Mm-hmm.
and the tone and the flexion and the
Yeah.
attitude, and we're not even trying to express it like that. But and then
But we gotta get
sometimes,
that point across.
but sometimes it could all be in your head too. You
Oh,
could be the
so
only one
so
in the
so
room who sees it that way, and
that
everybody
is
else is
true.
like,
So you're having
where did they get that from?
so you're having a conversation in your head, and you hearing it a totally different way than someone's actually
Or
saying it to you.
you've come with preconceived things from you're holding on to something. You already have an idea about the person, the subject, the situation, the whatever you guys are talking about. You already have a idea, and you're not even listening to what the person is saying. You already come with your fist balled up and your sleeves rolled up.
And your blood pressure going
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I have a question. That just brought a question to
Mhm.
my mind. You guys have a phrase or a word that really kind of gets under your skin, and when you hear it, you just see red.
You
In other
mean
words,
with anyone or
anyone,
just a
right?
word?
It's just one
Anybody
of those
say?
words that it's one. I'll just say it's a trigger, right?
Yes, people
You-
have some triggers.
I know they do.
And the thing is, we don't even recognize it as a trigger. We know it sets us off, but we don't name it as a trigger because if we did, then we would realize that
Yeah,
we need
we
to
call it pushing our
de-trigger.
buttons.
We need to
We
de-trigger
call it
ourselves. We
pushing
need
our
to take
buttons or give
yeah,
it
we
a
need to
little
take our
fun.
finger off the button, off the trigger. We need to take it off because we when we hear that,
Oh yeah.
we immediately fire back, and we just need to take our finger off the trigger and find out why does that trigger us. So we struggle again because of the mindset, because of the things that are within us,
Yep.
and our unwillingness to find out and go deeper within ourselves has nothing to do with the other person.
Yeah,
Go ahead. You
mine
have another
is.
comment?
I just yeah, we
All right,
do.
go right ahead. You can
I'm
jump
just
on
gonna
in.
say mine is we need to talk. I don't care who says that to me. I don't care if it's in a professional
You don't like
thing.
that?
Man, that just
I'll make sure I say that. We need to talk.
boy, that just you know what? I kind of felt a certain way when you said that. That kind of made me shiver. That's just one of those things that I just don't like
Seriously?
that. Yeah, because nothing good follows that statement.
That's
When
not
you tell
true. That's not
we
true.
need to talk. If it's something good, then just tell me. Obviously, it's nothing good.
Well, somebody might say it just because at that present time they can't talk to
No,
you.
no, no. You know what I hear, man? We need to talk.
That's
Right?
what you said.
Yeah,
We
that's
need
what
to
I
talk.
hear. I hear the
So
flexion, I hear the
you
tone.
already come with something in your mind. A
Oh, I'm ready
you
to
already
fight.
you get
I'm like, okay, now I'm trying to think about what it could be so I can come in there armed and ready for this conversation. That's I'm just saying this is just me, right?
okay.
When I hear that, that's one of the things for me. We need to talk. I don't care if it's a sibling, if it's a parent, if it's a professional environment, if it's intimate. Um, I don't like that phrase at all.
Really? Wow. And
It's
so
just
have you ever tried to dissect it? Have you ever tried to pick it apart and see why? Because
yeah, I know
sometimes
why.
it's all in your mind. It's all in your head.
Yeah, because nothing good has ever come from someone saying we need to
That's
talk.
not true. I've said, hey, Jason, we need to talk. And then I talk about something good.
Okay, I'll give you that because it's Friday. But but I'm t-
You are trying to get, no, I
but
have, because I have
but
deliberately. All right, let's get to our
but
next
but
comment. Let's
I'm
get,
just I'm but I'm just saying I'll give you that.
you're getting older. Your mind
Yeah, I'll
is
give you that too.
losing its,
I'm just saying when I hear that, it just puts me in a different frame of mind.
okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see our
Well,
next comment. Thank you very much. Guys, don't
yep.
forget to drop your name. Single Versity is
Hey,
in the
single
house.
versity.
When the communication goes left, I exit stage right. Of course, I don't have that problem now.
Right.
Well, I think we all have the problem because even though it may not be in the home intimately,
Mm-hmm.
we can experience it at work.
Yeah.
We can experience it in the grocery store.
Okay.
We can experience it with our children. We can experience it with our parents. We can experience with the person who collects our mortgage, or when we call and we get all these animated or automated, we get all these automated prompts, and you like, I just
Does
need to
that do it
speak
for
to
you?
some
How,
person.
you know what? That's true because people get heated. So by the time that live person
Yep,
comes on the
they
phone,
mad.
they're about to get it.
Yep. Just because you sent me through 500, there was a commercial that said that this is the 70, I don't know the number, 78th time that you've told me that my call is important to you. But it said that. This is the seven, but I'm thinking that my call really isn't important to you because I've just counted 79.
Wow.
You've told me 79 times. And so I get that sometimes. I'm like, and they try to be so smart with it. Well, I believe I can help you. Tell me what you want. And then you
Right.
tell them and they go, I don't understand you, or I
I
can't
always
help
say
you, or
speak to
is
a
there something else?
I say speak to an agent.
You can
Every time I get on, say
you can
speak
say
to
that
an agent.
500 times. Speak to an agent. Well, what do you need?
And then I always say
I
that
can help you.
I always ask the person, can because the first person or the first group that you get,
Talking about communication.
right? So
Who set up those prompts? If
I mean, it was just a prompt to kind of weed out some of
well, they
the
did that
low
to
hanging fruit, right?
well,
So
they
things that you can,
right handle
right,
without getting to a live
right,
agent.
right,
But oftentimes, sometimes it can, depending on what we're calling for. If we just want
right,
to know our bank account,
yeah,
the amount,
right. We don't
the
need to speak to
balance,
anybody.
we don't need to talk to anyone.
Hmm.
But if I'm calling and I have an issue, then I don't want to go through 500 prompts. I want you to say, what's the issue? And say, okay, you need a representative. Let me
See,
transfer you over
that's
there.
your cooling off period.
No,
So you may be
they.
a little upset,
All right,
right?
we get another comment.
Yeah,
All right, let's
we
get
do.
another comment.
Mm-hmm. We do.
So when we're talking about that,
In
I'm
agreement with
agreement
you.
with you, Jason.
Thank you, Regina. That's what I'm
Regina,
saying. She
I
don't
guess
like that.
I guess Regina is talking about that we need to talk.
Oh my goodness! You know
Oh,
what? When
don't
you say
guys, please don't tell me what your buttons are. I may just like to push them just because I know they're in operation. I'm be like a kid who gets on the elevator. So,
oh, hold on, I got one more. Go
all
ahead.
right. So Jan says, "Are you sure even when I was working, especially if I have provided information. Also, I am totally enjoying this conversation, Jason and Tina Marie.
Okay.
Yeah, Jan, I'm gonna tell you from a friend to friend.
Okay.
Our tones can be a little rough sometimes when we are irritated with people. So if I give you information and you turn around and say, "What?" I'm be like, "Huh?"
I-
I'm be like, "Tina, breathe."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I have to remember to coach myself sometimes, and that's a very good point
Yes,
because
it is.
oftentimes we get wrapped up in the information that we're providing, and we want people to listen the way we would listen. So we get upset when they're not listening, and
Come
then
on.
when they can't regurgitate or repeat back to us
Right.
what we're saying, and especially the points we're trying to make. You
Mm-hmm.
talking about irritation setting in,
Mm-hmm. You get
and
irritated real easy. I'm a little bit. Like I said,
you
I'm a
you
little bit better at that. I'm a little bit when I'm
boy, I
communicating.
know you ain't.
So I'm just saying when I'm communicating, I
Mhm.
can I can go along a little longer. You get a little snappy.
When you don't listen.
Definitely when I don't listen, when I don't get what you're trying to say. And I'm a little bit more caring, like, baby, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Just
And
you
so
have to hold my hand.
somebody else said, I think somebody else said something.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
I
go.
got that. I
Okay,
got that, Jan. I'm
okay,
over here with this.
okay.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, Jan, I'm looking at this thing. Okay, but so one of the other things is, so what is it about again, Jan or
single
single
varsity,
versity or
Rita,
Nancy? So
Nancy,
when we're talking about these things,
Regina.
Regina, right? When we're talking about communication breaking down, do we ever stop to think, what is it that, what part am I playing in this breakdown of communication, and how can I stop it? Because I'm pretty sure that um, it's not a one-time thing,
No, it's not.
right?
No.
And if we keep having the same type of communication with other people the same way, or the
Mm,
same person the same way,
come on. It's you.
nothing's happening. The lines of communication are not getting better. I don't care how much we scream. I don't care how much. I don't care if we talk 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They're not getting better until we take the initiative and be intentional and aware of the things that we're thinking
Mm,
and we're speaking. And as Jan said, the tone in which they're saying it and you're saying it. And also I think struggles because we react. Just like Jan said, you say something that I feel like may be out of pocket, and then
yep.
I react.
Yep.
So I'm reacting to you already being upset. And so now I'm upset because I feel like, again, you coming at me.
Mm,
Or we need to talk, right? That reaction, instead of just being, hey, well, let me just be open. Let me be receptive. Let me not have any kind of expectations of what this could be. Stop expecting the worst.
right.
Or sometimes that's a good point. People communicate that way because we've created this relationship of communication. So when you try to communicate, people only hear who you were from before. They don't even
Oh,
hear who you are now.
yeah. So when we're trying to go down this transformation highway and we're trying to transition from the person that we used to be to the new person, that's when communication gets rough because you're trying to change and people are still trying to communicate as they always have.
Or we're trying to change with just a few of the pieces, not all
All
of
of
the
them. Right.
pieces. So
You have to be all in on
you
change.
get a little bit of information that says, you know, you need to be able to be heard. People need to listen to you, right?
Right.
So you're going to keep standing your ground
Hmm.
until you're being heard, but you're not giving the other person the opportunity to be heard as well. So that's what I mean by you're getting pieces. We get pieces that are for us and not against us, and then we want to push them in people's faces.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
and again, so we talked about unrealistic expectations.
Yes, we did.
Expecting a person to think how you think, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
For me, I
Yeah.
think that what I have learned is that everybody is not at the level of
Oh
understanding
my
that I
goodness.
am at. And so
That leads to a lot of
yes,
misunderstandings because
yes,
if I say something
yes,
and I'm thinking that you're mature enough to handle it, I'm just
exactly,
saying it, and
yes.
then they just fall off the handle. You go, that is a very childish response, right?
And I had to learn that early, because sometimes people who may have had um, a certain belief about me, who
Hmm.
didn't really know me, who knew
Right.
me from a distance, and then I would joke with them, and
They would get upset.
it's sort of like that left right situation.
Sure.
It's like, when did I'm thinking this, and I'm looking for somebody to laugh, and the situation went left, and that person went right, and I'm stuck in the middle going, what
What?
just happened?
Yeah.
And so definitely, and so we have to, when we're expressing ourselves and when we're talking, we have to remember everyone is not at your level of understanding, which means they may be beneath or they may be above, but we have to learn how to fill that gap. How do I effectively communicate where we're both being understood at
Mm-hmm.
each person's level of understanding?
That's
Not
the
that
key.
I'm
The
right or
level of
you're right.
understanding.
Exactly. We can't communicate to be right. We have to communicate to make sure that each person is being understood.
Oh, that's a t-shirt. We can communicate to be right. Mm,
Okay, well, you need to write that down.
I
Don't
got
be
it.
putting it out there like that. All right, we got some more comments. So, guys, we
Well, they might
definitely.
want to buy that t-shirt. You can't communicate to be right. All right, here we go.
All right. So, single versus says, yes, I usually stop and evaluate my motive for saying what I'm saying.
Oh, I got another one.
And I
Because she
think
said that.
sometimes
Hold on
we.
one second. That's not the one I wanted. But let me
Okay.
see if I get this.
All right, single versus said, I don't have that problem anymore because I took the Manifest You course. Woo! Yes! I
Yes.
know I'm loud right now. Yeah, woo! Yes, yes,
Yeah.
the Manifest
That's
You
you.
course.
Yes.
Praise God.
Yes.
That is an amazing course. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
she
Thank you.
doesn't have that problem
Because we
anymore.
worked through that and she was on that road. Man, this is awesome.
That
That's what
is
I'm talking
awesome.
about.
And so, Single Versity, I'm still waiting for my testimony from you, for my video or just a written testimony, because when we put in the work,
Mm.
that is when we put in the work will be seen. We don't have to tell anybody.
Nope.
We don't, when people go and brag from the mountaintops, I know how to communicate. That's when you know, right then and there, they didn't do the work. They
Yeah.
took the class, but they didn't do the work.
So you
but
just took the class for
but they
attendance
didn't.
purposes.
But Single Versity, she took the class,
She
she
did.
put in the work, and
Yep.
she said, excuse me, she said she doesn't have that problem anymore.
She disconnected those triggers. I
That's
mean, and
right.
just think, and we're talking
So she
about
knows.
all relationships right now. So that means communication at work got better, at home got better, the one that you may have with your parents, all of the communication, because you see it different, because now you're different. So
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things, and I talk about this in the Manifest You course, is that when you elevate, when you do the work and you see things differently and you get to a higher plateau, right? So
hmm
it's like my vision for you all is like, it's when you're in an airplane. The view from an airplane is totally different than the view from when you're on the ground.
right,
If I'm walking on the ground and I'm driving in my car, I
hmm
can see things at surface level.
right,
But when I'm in the airplane, I can then decide how I'm going to, what is my next step? How am
right.
I going to evaluate this? How I'm going to you know, dissect it. What am I going to do differently? And so my view is totally different. So therefore the outcome is going to be totally
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing. And I'm a little warm up in here.
Yeah. This conversation got hot up in here.
If you guys,
All right,
so
here we go. I'm
yeah,
gonna give you this one.
what does it say? Single versity, that's good stuff. People only hear who you were before.
That's all they said. Because
Yes,
they know
yes,
you.
yes.
They know you.
That's what they think.
Right.
And that's the problem in communication. And that's why when I tell people, you have to be the person who changes in order for the way you communicate with someone to change, because they're going to come at you the same way.
They always have.
They're
Right.
going to hear you the way they've always heard you. And it's not until you show up different that the situation changes and shows up different.
Yep.
All right. So which means that the mindset that we carry, oh my God, for sure. That's right.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, yes, yes. All of it. And so if I'm having an issue
Come on.
with my boss in
Yep.
communicating, right, with my partner in communicating, I have to stop looking for them to communicate with me differently. I have to put in the work. I have to show up differently. I have to figure out where are the missing pieces and which triggers am I keeping connected that I'm allowing them to trigger, right?
Right.
Because if I don't disconnect my triggers, they may say something, it's going to trigger me, and then I'm going to fall right back into who
Come
they
on.
think
all
I
that,
am.
All that work you think
All
you're
that-
doing.
all that work,
All that work
all
that
that
you
work,
think you're
all-
doing.
yes.
And then be like, yeah, nope, we coming unplugged.
You on the airplane, you go come
Yep.
crashing down.
All right.
So we have to remember, ask ourselves when we get into these when we're struggling in relationships with team members,
Mhm.
right? When we're struggling in relationships where we can feel people's energy and we don't even understand where the heck they coming from,
Right.
and so we react to their energy, because energy is real, guys.
Yeah, it is.
I could be on cloud nine and somebody will walk in and I don't know what's going on with their life, but I have allowed them to bring me down to cloud two. And so then I have to ask myself, Tina,
Come
what's going on?
That's right.
Right? Their energy is not your energy. What's going on with them has nothing to do with you. Their outlook on life, their perspective, their mindset has nothing to do with you.
Not
And
at all.
so I'm just going to put this out there. And so I have 3 wonderful children,
Okay.
3 young adults. And
I
so
want to take a sip on that. Boy.
yeah, me too.
Okay.
I think I need to take a sip. I have 3 young adults, and
They don't think like us.
not like us, but they are at the
Yeah,
core. They
they
are,
are.
and
Yeah.
I
I
appreciate
think that'd be
that.
some of the situations because they are like us.
Yeah. The friction.
They
the
show you that
friction.
reflection.
And part of that is that they think they know us,
Uh-huh.
and we think we know them.
Yes.
But what happens in life is that we're constantly evolving,
Yes.
and we have to allow each other to get to know the new person that we have become. because the mom I am now
Hmm.
is not the mom I was when they were 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And so
Right.
we have to remember to allow them unrealistic expectations that we put on each other. But we also have to have the mindset to be aware of what's going on and how do I see it differently.
And you also
Do we
have
have
to
another
respect
couple?
it too. Yeah, you have to respect them
So
where they're
respect
at.
has to always
You know,
be
and it's interesting
in the
because it's
picture.
hard to see your children as anything else other than your children. You see them as that. And now they're adults and you have to communicate with them as adults. So that's just a weird dynamic to see your children grow up and then you have to communicate with them as adults and not as children because that's how you see them. Your job was always to protect them
Mhm.
and look out for them and things of that nature. So when you start to say those type of things to your children and then they go, okay, thanks, but I'm not going to do that. You go, well, why not? I just said you should do that.
And that's what I was going to say when I was saying my children. I was going to talk about our daughter,
Hmm.
and such a strong-willed
Very
individual,
much
and
so.
she that's something definitely she would say.
Hmm.
She would definitely say, "Yeah, thank you for telling me that, but I'm gonna do what I want to do."
I like, well, don't,
And
don't you see
so,
what I'm trying to get over to?
but
My job
then,
was to protect you, but you want to go out and do this. This not, I mean, it may not end well, but that's just not my life, right? That's her life, and she's in control of her life, and you have to respect that.
but then,
Hmm.
and the same thing when life hits her with something that she can't handle,
Hmm.
then she calls
Right?
to ask me or for me to talk her through it. Really, I need to send her a bill to coach her through what
Yeah.
she's feeling because she hasn't developed
Right.
the mindset
To deal
of
with.
giving away her power.
Right.
Right? She hasn't. She.
Up until a certain point, but
Right.
somebody can actually accidentally press that button and make you feel insecure or just unhappy or whatever it is. I don't care how strong you are. Someone can always do something, and it's always going to trigger something from somewhere. And you go, "Wow, they didn't have to do that. This is so, that is so mean." And someone could have just not done something like didn't see you and didn't speak, and people like that is rude for you not to speak to me when you saw me. And like I didn't even see you. I had something else in my mind. So it all depends on how we view a thing and how things still trigger us.
And I was getting back to the post, and we had so many things. It was unrealistic expectations that we not only put on other people, that we put on ourselves.
Mhm.
But what were some of the other things?
Boundaries.
Oh, boundaries,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Having certain boundaries
Let me
for
get to Lisa.
yourself.
Let me get
Okay.
to you ready?
Some things are worth the wait. I got you. All right. Go ahead. You get. So, what I was going to say is that as we're growing up, we put these boundaries up, and then
Yes.
we're not taught what boundaries are for.
Right.
Right? We
Well, we're
think
taught to have boundaries or put
nope.
boundaries up.
Sometimes we're not even
I
taught
know.
to have boundaries.
Well,
No,
no.
no, no. But did your mom ever tell you to put up a boundary?
Did she tell me to put up a boundary?
No, we just
She didn't say necessarily put up boundaries, but she did tell me to be very cautious of people. You
so that
can't always put your
but
guards down
okay, so
with
so
people.
so we're talking about people, so I'm talking about you meet a young lady
Hmm.
and your
It
guards
didn't
come
matter.
down. Yeah.
She-
Your guards come
especially
down,
for
right?
young ladies.
So
Yeah.
my point is that we we look at ourselves in a certain light and we
Hmm.
want certain things in life.
Right.
And we're not really educated in what boundaries are for.
For sure.
And so we think that when someone talks about boundaries, that it's for us to keep the other person at bay, which really the purpose of boundaries is not necessarily to keep them at bay,
Hmm.
but to make sure they don't walk past the respect line.
There you go.
It was so funny. I saw this thing. It was like it's like being on the playground. Remember, you used to draw that line, and you say, "I
Hmm.
dare you step over that line."
Yep.
Because when you step over that line, you're now in my personal space. You just way too close.
Gotcha.
So I dare you. So that's what boundaries are. They're to protect us,
Hmm.
our emotions, our feelings.
Yep.
They're to protect us from the other person or the other situation or the other thing. So when we put these boundaries in place,
Hmm.
first we have to know to put them in place.
That's
How
the
do I
first thing.
stop getting my feelings hurt?
Yep.
Right? So if
Yep.
somebody says, well, my feelings always get hurt, or I always take things out of context, or people are always hurting my
I'm
feelings,
always misunderstood or whatever.
that's because you, one, have told yourself that story, but two, you have not put the boundaries in place to protect yourself.
Hmm.
Boundaries are, it's sort of like, you know, your fence and your the locks on your doors. They're not necessarily to keep the robber out, but they're for you to protect yourself. So you know when somebody's coming through that door
Hmm.
that they have overstepped their boundaries,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
You're not just gonna say, come on in.
Right.
But what happens is that we start to negotiate our non-negotiables. I want
Oh.
a gentleman or a person or a boss that does this or a mate that does that. And then when they don't do it because we like them or because
Mm.
we know them or because we're related to them, we allow them to stumble or trample
Trample. Hmm.
over our boundaries. And
Ooh.
so if you feel like you've set boundaries and they're not being respected, is because they're not in place. You
You don't
haven't
even, yeah, you
you
said you had boundaries, but you don't actually have them.
you're not
You
standing
don't
by
respect
them. You haven't effectively what is the word?
it.
Come on.
I
Uh,
know what you said. You
yeah,
laid them out or set the boundaries. I know
you
what you're saying.
enforcing them.
Yeah.
You're not enforcing them, for
Gotcha.
lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So
Or believing in your boundaries, right?
so
So
what do
you
you
say you
guys
have them.
so we have anything. So what
Hmm.
do you guys think about boundaries, right?
Mm.
Even the boundaries we allow our children, because sometimes we allow our children to disrespect or do things
Mm.
that we
do
wouldn't allow
do
anybody else
things
to do.
and say things.
And even our mates, right? People that's close to us.
Why you look at me when you said me?
Oh no, I'm just looking
Oh,
at you.
okay, all
Just
right,
looking
all
at you.
right. Just
So we struggle because we don't put boundaries in place
all right.
and we don't effectively up adhere to those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get
Trampled on.
then we're upset and we're wondering why we are affected the way we are affected is because we allowed ourselves
Mm-hmm.
to put our boundaries down. It's
So
not anyone else because if you don't keep them up, people don't set boundaries for you. They set boundaries for themselves. So
that's true.
if you
They'll
don't
walk right over there.
if you don't set them, they're not going to be there. And if
So
you're not experiencing them, that means you're not effective and you don't have any. You're not effective in making sure that they're there.
so now when your boundaries are disrespected, your communication falls. Because
Everything
now you're
falls.
upset because someone overstepped your boundary, and now they're in your space giving you a hard time. Now when you go to communicate with that person, it's a little hostile.
Well, you can't because boundaries are meant to protect your peace.
And now you don't
Yeah,
feel protected. So now
exactly.
your communication is not going to be loving.
And that's so important. When we talk about protecting your peace, oh my goodness, that is so important. If we could just understand the importance of protecting our peace, that
Mm.
goes far beyond this conversation. So there were so many things that we really wanted to get into about why relationships struggle, and this
Mhm.
is all relationships. And we just have to make sure that we're not speaking out of the side of our neck when we are looking to actually understand why we're struggling in certain situations and in certain relationships. I think that we have to everything goes back to your thinking.
For sure.
Your mindset? How are you perceiving it? What is really going on as opposed to the story that you're telling yourself, and how does the narrative change? You know, I often tell people that they are in control of their own story.
Yes, they
So
are.
you have the pencil in your hand. You can either write the story that you want
Come on.
and erase the parts that you don't, or you can allow yourself to get a pen and let somebody else write it. You're putting
Oh,
the pen in their hand. So I
but that
think that's a
happens a
big point.
lot. Yeah, that happens a lot. People, it's not their story. You're not living out your story. You're living out the story of someone else.
You're
Someone
living
else
that
has come.
story of reaction, right?
Well, that's
Half the
true.
time
Right.
we're reacting to somebody else's story
Yeah.
and we're letting it dictate how we think and feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we're letting someone else's past baggage, past hurts, past stress,
Mm.
all these things that they have subconsciously submerged, and they're coming out to the surface, and we're allowing them to make that their past a
Mm-hmm.
part of us when we don't even have those issues.
Mm.
And now we're trying to communicate things and talk about things that shouldn't even be a part of the conversation because that's something that somebody else didn't take the time to work on their stuff,
That's
right? When
right.
you don't do the work, when
Mm-hmm.
you don't do the work, we often ask for certain. If I'm talking about in intimate relationships, we often look for that perfect mate, right? I want
Right.
somebody who does X, Y, Z, and this and the other, and then we get them, and then we try to change them because we haven't healed or done the work that we needed to do for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so now me and this person now have issues that we didn't have to have if I had of taken the Manifest You course,
There you
if
go.
I
And
had a
got your
did the
stuff
work to
together.
shift my mindset,
Yep.
if I had to realize that communication is not something that we just automatically get,
Mm.
we pick it up from those around us. So if they have unhealthy ways of communicating, we're more than likely going to have unhealthy ways of communicating.
It's a learned behavior. All right, I got one more here.
All right. Single
Verse
verses
it.
says we compromise our boundaries, and once you do that, it can be difficult to reestablish them.
It is.
Absolutely. Not
Once they on
definitely.
this side of the fence, it's hard to get them out. It's hard to get them out. It's hard to, you
It
know
is.
what? And if you start to give in on your boundaries a little bit at a time, like, okay, I don't like this, but they're doing it infringing on me. Okay, a little bit. Okay. And then you give a little bit more. You give a little bit more. After a while, you have no boundaries. And then they just trampling all over you as a person.
And I don't even think, most of the times we don't even realize that that's what's going on
I know.
because we want to give in relationships. We don't realize that giving doesn't mean giving up our self-respect, giving everything of us, giving up our boundaries. And so we want to make relationships work. So we give, and then we don't realize that we're actually um we're taking away our boundaries.
Yeah.
Because but now also at the same token of that is that we can't be so fixated on our boundaries that we're so hard with someone else that you know what I'm saying. Sometimes
Yeah.
we can. There has to be a happy
Like,
medium.
no, I'm not gonna go along with it
Right,
because
right.
you're just right up at my boundaries, and I'm not gonna deal with this, right?
Or I don't.
Yeah,
Right. We
yeah,
it's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah.
it's
It's a way
sometimes
to deal with
we can
that.
set unrealistic boundaries.
Sure, sure,
So
sure.
I guess I would say
On our
that.
way to change.
And the on our or just unrealistic boundaries. People set unrealistic boundaries, and
Well,
they
that's true
think they
too.
setting them for their. Again,
Right.
it's the misinformation. It's not knowing that boundaries are not for someone else. Boundaries are for you.
Yeah, I got you.
So we set these unrealistic boundaries for other people, and we box ourselves in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
oftentimes when we get into these relationships and they're meant to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Every challenge is meant for you to grow. You experience challenges so that you can grow because you need to expand. We need to get so they're meant to grow. And so instead of us growing, we say, well, I'm not going to allow the next person to do this, and we draw this line.
Sure.
I'm not going to allow this person to do this. We draw this other line. Well, you know what? My boss did this, so I'm not going to allow people to talk to me this way. And you draw this line, and then we say, you know what? My mom and dad did it, so I draw this. So what you've done is you've actually
Well, don't you
put
put
yourself
yourself
in
in.
a box
Mm-hmm.
instead of growing and expanding and creating boundaries that protect you, but also respect the other person.
Right.
So we have to.
So
Chal-
like it's like I said, going back earlier, it's our little self, our younger versions of ourselves that's controlling our adult
The
self.
undeveloped, unmature.
Undeveloped,
Yeah.
unmature individual in
Yeah.
us is what's making and setting boundaries.
And then we can't see that it's that person because that's who we are. We can't see that it's the underdeveloped part of us or the child part of us
Yep.
because that's the only part we know. Instead of because we've built this fence around ourselves
Right.
and we think that we've grown, but actually what we've done is boxed ourselves in, and we haven't allowed ourselves to grow from the experience. What we have done is stop growing.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
let
because
the
we're in the box
experience
now.
we've let the experience define what we're not going to do
Ooh.
instead of the experience saying what was I supposed to learn from it to grow so that I don't experience it again. But what we've done is we put a box around ourselves, and so we've stopped growing. So we are the same person we were 20 years ago when that same incident happened, instead
Mhm.
of growing and allowing new experiences to evolve us to elevate us, to get us to the airplane instead of keeping us down on ground level.
Ooh. Come on now. That's what I'm talking
All
about.
right. So, are there any other questions? We want to thank you guys
Or comments, yes.
yes.
Thank
So
you
this is
so
a wonderful
much.
Friday.
Yes, it
We're gonna
is.
go enjoy it, Jason and I. So if you guys are anywhere in the South Holland area, we're gonna go head over to South Holland and go over to Veterans Park and go watch the concert in the park. We're gonna go out
Okay.
there with kicking it with Kendra.
All right. Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna go
should
out
be
there with my
fun.
girl kicking it with Kendra.
All
That's
right.
on our calendar. So I'm gonna head out there with the ladies from the
I,
Double Dutch.
I was
We're
gonna say,
gonna
are you jumping?
no, it's a concert.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
I meant to tell her to save me a spot.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, we're going to get on out of here. We enjoyed the conversation.
Yes,
We
it's been
appreciate
fun.
you
Thank you so
taking
much
the
for your
time.
participation.
Please keep growing, keep knowing. And also, we have the Manifest You course or program that we have that we're offering that you can get on our website. Also, we have created a free download. And so these tools are for you. And this guide that we've created is just phenomenal. And I
Yeah.
say it's phenomenal because I did it, I use it, I put it together, and then I'm doing it again because sometimes I said we need to take a refresher course.
Yes.
And so
And everything that we put out, these are things that work for us. This is nothing that we just thought of and and put together. This is stuff that we've worked through, that we work with couples on, that just can say, you know what, this would benefit the masses, right? We shouldn't keep this information in house. It's just that we should, give it away. And it's funny because as we were working on it, and I said, baby, this is kind of like a book. I don't know if we should. This shouldn't be a giveaway. This is something that you should sell. But
so this one that we're doing is that it's a freebie. A freebie is 7 mindset shifts for instant wins. All
mm,
right. So it's being aware of how taking accountability or just looking at how we look at things. What is our mindset? And it's helping you to shift your mindset. So 7 mindset shifts,
mm-hmm.
right? So that you can get those instant wins. And so it's a free downloadable, guys. Please go to our website and get it. It is if you're struggling in any part of your
Any part.
any area in your life, I mean
Yep.
any area in your life, if
Yep.
you're stuck, if you're unsure, if you're experiencing things, sometimes it's just a different point of view. We can't keep going the same way. Sometimes we don't need to go through the wall, we need to go around the wall,
There you go.
right? So sometimes we have to do that. We have to take a different path. So it helps us to, so 7 mindset shifts. Okay. So, and for those instant wins. So make sure you go to Legendary Relationship and download it, get the free downloadable. And once you get that and you read it, you see how phenomenal it is. There's what you struggle with and the old way of doing things, and then the new
Mm-hmm.
way of look at things. And then it's the, what do we change? It gives you journaling prompts. It gives you thought provoking questions to help you ask yourself and become aware to get off that surface level. It's not the other
It's something
person, it's
worth
me.
paying for. That's all I'm gonna
It
say.
is worth something worth paying for,
All
but
right.
we're giving it to you free because
There you
we
go.
want you to be able to understand, to get those little shifts, right? Those little wins in life. How do I see something differently? And then it has affirmations because I believe in the power of affirmations. And
Come
so
on.
it's so
Yep.
important. And then it gives you the goal. So we're taking you through the manifest method, right? Mindset, then awareness, making sure that you are aware of what's going on. So guys, go over to Legendary
Over to. Yep.
Relationship and download the free 7 mindset shifts,
Yep.
as well as if you are not one of our YouTube subscribers, please go to YouTube and subscribe there so that you can get notified
Yep.
when we are on. Also, guys, if you are out there watching right now, please drop your name so that we can shout you out. You
Yes.
don't have to say anything. And the thing is, if you're viewing, we appreciate, we love you. We would love to shout you out. But if for some reason you don't want to, that's okay too. We're all here to learn. We're all in it to
To
win
win it.
it.
But
But
we weren't talking about anything too controversial today.
it doesn't matter. Sometimes people are what they are. They need a mindset tune up. They need
That's
a
it.
mindset
I'll
shift.
give you that.
All right. So before we get out of here, let's get these last couple of comments.
Yeah, I got a few here.
All right. So we thank you guys for the conversation. We're gonna head on over there and go to my kicking it with Kendra
Okay. Nope.
folks.
That's not it. That's not it. That's afterwards.
All right. I'm keeping my eyes in front of me.
Yeah. Single
You
Versity
preaching,
said.
T. All right. Thank you, Single Versity. Thank you, Single Versity.
And Single Versity, thank you so much
I
for
don't want to
joining the
preach.
conversation. We greatly
Yes.
appreciate
I
it.
don't want to preach. I just want to bring awareness. I want us to be able to have these conversations with honesty and in an open environment where we can help other people that may be stuck.
Stop blaming everybody else. Look in the mirror.
One of the
Deal with your
biggest
stuff.
things besides the education that I've gotten in coaching and just the education that I've gotten in mindset and things like that and metaphysics and all of these things, the biggest thing is that the knowledge that I've gotten from getting older. That is a true statement.
Yeah.
Wisdom, right? The wisdom of getting older,
Yeah.
experiences, things you can see far off that people can, you go, wow, why couldn't I see that when I was 20? But I'm telling you, if we could just have these conversations and just sometimes just stop thinking we know everything. And
Yeah.
it
And
me
that comes
included.
with age too.
It does.
Sometimes you figure out that you don't know everything, and it's okay.
All right, let's get the rest of our
Well,
comments.
when I
Thank
talk to
you.
you, so
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
We
sorry.
don't-
I
go
lost my
ahead.
thought now. All right, go ahead.
All right, Jan says love the session.
And
Thank
we
you,
love you
Jan.
being here, Jan.
Yes,
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
Jan. So you guys don't forget to see Jan. I don't know if she's still doing it. She comes on Wednesday for Gold Rush Women's Conference. She
Whoop,
does
whoop.
the
She do a 15
minutes
minute
of
prayer on
that.
Wednesday.
That's right,
Yeah.
Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. So if
Yeah,
you
on
are
Facebook.
on Facebook, so you
Yep.
guys are able to tune in. If it's not Jan, then it's Reverend Jackie. So go watch.
But it's been
Sometime,
Jan for a minute. Though.
yeah,
I mean,
because
she
Reverend
been
Jackie
doing.
was out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She been
So
doing.
make
She been
sure
handling
that
her
you get your.
stuff.
Sometimes all we need is 15
That's
minutes
all.
of a
And she give
prayer
it to you
break.
like boom, boom, boom.
All
Right.
right.
Yep. And you be good to go. Hit you right in the middle of hump
That's right. So
day.
thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Okay. Did I get this one? Not sure.
All right. Regina said, great conversation. Enjoyed the concert.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoy this weekend. Yes, I'm
Yes.
very
Everyone
busy this
enjoy. Have
weekend.
a
Thank
safe
you. The same
weekend.
thing to you, Regina. Thank you for
Yes.
tuning in. Thank you for your comments and your honesty. We appreciate it. All right. Dot said, I'm late. Better late than never. Uh, Hood evening. She's like Mia. Hood evening, Jason, Tina, and listeners from
Yeah.
Calumet City.
All
Hood
right.
evening there, Dot.
Yeah.
Have a great Friday. Thank you
Yes.
so
Yeah.
much. And we were talking about where our relationships struggle. We would have loved to have your insight so we can always finish the conversation offline. All right. Single Versus says a great show and conversation. Enjoy your time at the concert. Thank
Sure
you.
will.
It
Who's
starts at
playing?
7. I have no idea.
Okay.
All right. Somebody they got playing for
Okay.
family and friends and for
Family and
kids.
friends.
And all right.
So
Any
we
other
just
conversations?
did I say we were going out there? Though?
Yeah.
Oh, I did say
Uh-huh.
that. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Because we said we got to be in it to win it.
Okay. I believe
right.
you. Yes.
Anything else? No? All right. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank
We
you
really enjoyed this. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Spread the word. You know, we're trying to get this out here. So I mean, like,
Please
listen,
like, share, and
it takes
subscribe.
a lot to have a great relationship. Trust me.
Even with yourself.
That's the one I'm talking about.
We
right?
heal. We got to heal.
Sometimes we
gotta
look in the
become
mirror.
The relationship we
I
want.
mean,
in order to have
if
the
we're
right one.
being honest, sometimes we look in the mirror and we don't like what we see. So if we don't like what we see when we go out there and interact with people, they're going to be able to tell. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to change the way we view ourselves. And if we can
Yes.
change the way we view ourselves, then we can change our relationships. So that's what this is all about.
All
So,
right. Well said. So does that end another episode? Is there anything you want to tell them? One more. Dodge said.
Yep.
We know that was
Yeah,
a
we know.
typo. All right.
But you know us.
That's
we always
right.
want to have fun.
I love your little smile on your picture, Dot. So that's right. So we're going to say
She was
hood
typing
evening.
fast. Yep.
We're going to say hood evening to you, too. Hood evening from the hood.
That's what happened when you late.
That's right.
Right. See,
You
it was
trying to rush
good.
it in.
It was good about an hour ago.
All right,
So-
let's go. So you can find us at Legendary Relationship on all platforms:
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Pinterest.
LinkedIn, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. You can find Jason or Tina.
Yeah.
Tina is currently doing her YouTube. Currently doing her LinkedIn. So if anybody is a wonderful whiz at LinkedIn, feel free to help me. All right. So, but I'm gonna get
Well,
it
it's out
together.
there. Yeah, I mean, it's not much, but
I
you
haven't
can.
finished it, but I have a lot to do.
That's true. We'll
All
just
right.
put it out there, and then
All right.
we'll just get you some connections out there.
All right,
That's
so
all.
thank you again for tuning in. We love and appreciate you. We will
Yes,
see
we do.
you next Friday right here in our studio. And as always,
No, don't kill me too fast.
Oh,
mama.
I'm
okay.
going like that. I'm too far, good in the hood.
Yep.
All right, all right. So, let's see. I'm not sure if we have a guest next Friday, but if not,
Do we?
please, guys, like, share, and subscribe.
I don't-
Please send it
Are
out.
we on
Go
next
like
Friday?
my little babies, Jason and I. Those were our AR. That was our picture. They took our picture from AI and created those AI babies on
So we'll
Facebook.
let our babies take
So
care
make
and do
sure
some
you-
of our.
That's right. So you're gonna be seeing our babies having some of our promos. I love that little cute little picture. So make sure you go out there and like our little picture on Facebook. All right.
That's our
and
new,
I think it's on,
that's
it's
our
on
new
my
marketing
page.
campaign.
Yeah, it's under my page. It's under Tina
Oh, is it? Okay.
on Facebook.
All right.
All right, guys. So happy birthday to all of the July birthdays.
Oh yeah.
Have a great
All the
weekend.
cancers moving into the Leos.
That's right. So whatever you are in
Yep.
your zodiac, make sure you are following the universe. All right? Get out there and straighten out your mindsets. Don't forget to go and download 7 mindset shifts
Mm.
to shift your mindset for those instant wins. All
There
right?
You go.
You
there
can go
go.
at Legendary Relationship. You can get our book at Legendary Relationship. You can get our book at Legendary Relationship, or you can get it on Amazon. You can get gear. You can get the 20 question emotional intimacy questions. There's plenty of free resources. You can get our podcast. You can go to YouTube and listen to it. So, hey, you can get a lot.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, you
if
can go to
have any
YouTube
questions,
and look at it.
look at it and listen to it.
Yep.
All right. So if you have any questions that you would like for us to just tackle,
Yeah.
us in the audience, please feel free to email us at info@legendaryrelationship.com.
Yeah.
All
Or
right,
if you see
are
a
we-
topic that you think about a topic that you would like for us to research and cover, Send it to us.
All right.
Or if you just want to come on and talk about mindset stuff too, come on. We'd love to have that conversation.
So if you guys want to be a guest on Legendary Relationship,
Yeah, come on inside.
Jason is opening up the podcast floor. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So that is it for another Friday. We thank